I mean, we're mortal, aren't we? And being mortal is part of our condition. And what is an option is the suffering before dying. I'm campaigning for the right to die. I always thought that I was going to decide myself the day and the moment when I was going to die. I've been wanting to do that for the past 10 years. And if you tell me to choose between being old or dying, I prefer dying. The more you advance in age, the more problems you have. Where you reach a certain point where you have to make a choice. And usually the choice people make is either, if they have money, they take somebody, full-time to look after them, stay at home. If they don't have money, they have the option of living with their children. The last option is a nursing home. And the nursing homes are so depressing. I can't digest anything anymore. I can hardly eat anything. The only alcohol I can still drink is vodka. I can't drink wine because it's too sour, and champagne because of the bubbles. And okay, you tell me that's not important. Lots of people are starving and they'd be happy just to have bread and water. So it sounds like a spoiled bitch, when I'm talking to you like that. And I don't want to sound like that because I didn't always live like that. I didn't always have access to luxury and to things I fought for myself.
Real quick.
When I was younger, I had to fight for survival until I met my husband, who was a great provider. I don't think anybody's particularly upset about my decision either. I mean, my children are grown-up men. They have their lives. I'm not in their lives anymore. Well, what about the grandchildren? That's an interesting question. I mean, I find them very cute, and I love to look at them and everything. But I'm not really interested in looking after them like I looked after my own children. I don't feel responsible for them, and I'm in ecstasy when I look at them and I say, "Oh wow, they're beautiful," and whatever. Okay, that's fine, but that's about it. There's no relationship with my husband. Children are gone. I don't have a job. I don't have anything. What is my life? I think it's impossible to fall in love again at this age I am at now. I can't be in love with an old man. I mean, I fell in love in my fitness coach. That was 4 years ago. But that was a totally unilateral thing because the guy is the age of my sons. But I'm not really interested in his falling in love with me or not. Although I do realize that not being a sexual object anymore does make a huge difference. I'm somebody who was being brought up in France, in Paris, where seduction is a big part of our personality. And so if I lose my power of seduction, I'm a bit at a loss. I had it all. I had the life of being a seductress, of sometimes being the most beautiful woman in a room, of knowing it, of feeling it. I used to walk in the streets and people would look at me, and say nice things to me. Now today it's gone because you're not allowed to say anything nice anymore. You're denounced by these Puritans who say, me too.
This is pure gold.
By, these Puritans who say, me too.
This is pure gold. She.
I am narcissistic. Who isn't? I saw a neurologist, I saw a shrink, I saw people who discussed with me for a long time and who said, well, she knows exactly what she's doing, she knows why she's doing it, and it's okay. I'm not being coerced into doing anything by anybody else.
So why don't you do it yourself?
Well, because it's violent. It's violent. Well, yes, of course I can throw myself out of the window, I can throw myself under a train. It causes a lot of problems for all the other people who have to find me, who have to pick me up. Do I want to make a train stop because I've thrown myself on the rails? Do I want to jump out of the window and offer the sight of my brains, my gut all spinning out? I would die at home. I could die at home. I am privileged because I can do that, which many other people can't. But supposing I do that, what happens? The police comes, they want to have an autopsy done. It's a terrible burden on my children. They call my children, look, your mother. It's much easier if they know I'm going on my own terms at my own moment when I want to.
Man, for pretty women, they died twice. And this woman was dead honest. She lived for that attention. The feeling of being the most beautiful woman in the room, that made her happy. When these women hit the wall, it's over. But not just that, she mentioned M2. And there is a direct correlation between attention and the M2 movement. Notice, thought, or interest. If you ignore these women that are used to getting all the attention, they will find a way to get your attention. The M2 movement was a witch hunt. And again, women did not think about the consequences of their actions. Women complain that men are avoiding them at the workplace. Men don't want to mentor them, and men are not approaching them anymore. Women wanted to make more money. Now that they make more money, they complain that there are not enough financially eligible men to date. The foolishness. A woman's power lies in the power that you give her. Why do you think these women twerk? Millions of twerking videos online. You want to teach your daughter to twerk. You want to teach your daughter to lead with her booty. When you see a woman twerking, you don't think to yourself, oh, I'm going to marry her. That's wifey right there. But that's not why they're doing it. Seduction. It's a game. Like she said, if I lose my power of seduction, I'm at a loss. How much attention can I get? The feeling of being attractive is essential. Ayesha Curry, she has a husband, but still craves outside validation. I truly believe she's gonna divorce Steph Curry when his career is over, and the simps are no longer sliding in her DMs. Women can only play the seduction game when they are young. What are you gonna do when this game is over? Some women can't do anything else but look good, be pretty, and their worst nightmare is to be invisible. They would rather be dead. This channel is full of women crying for attention. Jada Pinkett, Ayesha Curry, the former supermodel, and the list goes on and on. Jacqueline went to Switzerland to delete herself because it's legal over there, and this is what she said in an interview in 2018 about how she wants to spend her last 24 hours. Janice.
I have already said my goodbyes to my children. I don't want any tears. If they cry and get upset, then I will too. I want it to be a deliciously perfect 24 hours. I'll drink enough vodka to be nicely drunk. I'd love an attractive young man with me. I don't want to make love, but just to enjoy his presence and feel some desire. I adore male company. And then I will be ready to die in Switzerland via assisted self-deletion.
You'll figure out that the way they feel is the essence of why they do what they do. Why drink alcohol to be nicely drunk? Janice.
In addition to dopamine, drinking alcohol initially releases serotonin, which is another neurotransmitter involved in feeling happy and calm.
Dying alone suddenly hits different because it's not just about male company, but also about feeling desired. And of course, the man has to be attractive. Do you see why husbands like robots won't work? Let's read what was said about her husband. Jacqueline had implied that the separation from her German husband had left her extremely lonesome. But her last post confirmed that she didn't want to be a burden to her husband. And I quote, who no longer loves me, end quote. So it's kind of shady what happened between her and her husband. But it's not easy to love a woman that's unhappy or depressed because she hates being old and not desired by other men. This is interesting because nowadays women get their fix on social media and dating apps. In general, it's men that terminate themselves at a higher rate than women. But listening to her reasons and the way modern society is social media driven and of course focused on youth, I see more women vouch for something like this. Especially with the high depression rate women have. 1 in 4 women are on antidepressants. At this point, it's 60% women that self-delete with assistance in Switzerland. I believe this number will continue to increase and explode when millennial women hit the 65-year-old mark. At least this woman had a husband, had children and grandchildren. But the millennials and Gen Zs are the loneliest generations. Millennials are getting into their 40s now. Some interesting times ahead. We're dealing with people that have never experienced a life without social media, without smartphones. We made a video about a 15-year-old girl that gets flooded with DMs. What happens to her when this stops in her 30s? She doesn't know any better. Society is going to have to deal with addicts that are forced to go cold turkey. Stay on your purpose. I'm curious what you guys have to say in the comment section. Going out on your own terms, is this something that